Thank you so much for being here and welcome to Manufacturing Your Career. I'd like you to meet first Mandy Barker, who is the number 2 person at the Southwest Virginia Alliance for Manufacturing. She has put this together, and so we have a lot of excellent people for you to hear this morning, and it takes a lot of time to do this. So I'm grateful you're here, but I hope you'll also appreciate these folks who have left business and come to give of their time to share with you. We're celebrating manufacturing today, so please be prepared to ask questions. I'd also like you to know that we'll be sending these around near the end of the program so that you can sign in, and as soon as the program ends, we'll be doing door prizes. Thank you so much. Mandy Barker.
Okay, everybody, so show of hands, how many of you all know someone who works in manufacturing? Few of you, okay. How many of you all have considered a career in manufacturing? Not many of you, okay. Well, hopefully today we can encourage you to consider ways to apply your degree towards a manufacturing career. What we're going to do is spend about 45 minutes answering questions that I'm going to ask our panelists here. And then for the last 15 minutes, we're going to turn this over to you all to ask your questions, so please be thinking of some. We'll start out by introducing our panelists. Here closest to me, we have Eric Miller from Wolf Hills Fabricators, Deidre Hilbert from Tadano Mantis, Mark Hill from Samuel Pressure Vessel Group, Melinda Roberts from Sholey IPN Packaging, and Shannon Sizemore from Komatsu. So to start, Eric, if you'll tell us a little bit about what your company manufactures and what you do there.
Test. On?
Sounds good.
Okay, we're a fabricator, which in simple terms means we build stuff out of steel. So we've got a couple product divisions, material handling, underground mining equipment, and then we just do a general fabrication of mostly local regional businesses that need things out of steel. We build it for those businesses.
Good morning. We actually design and produce telescopic teleboom crawler cranes. That's those humongous pieces of equipment that you see maybe placing a railroad train back on the tracks, helping with bridge construction. So we're a global company, and we're glad to be in Southwest Virginia.
I'm with the Samuel Pressure Vessel Group. We manufacture tanks for the most part, large and small. If you've ever been in Lowe's and seen the little compressor mounted on top of a tank, the tank has to get made, and we're one of the companies that makes those kind of things. We make them as small as that or big enough to where they would not stand up in this room. And we've been in Southwest Virginia here for a long time, since 1987.
Hi, I'm with Sholey IPN Packaging. We're a global packaging company. If you've ever been through McDonald's and gotten a fountain drink, you've probably used our product. We actually make the plastic bags that connect to the fountain drink machines that hold the syrup that actually make the sodas. And we are probably the main supplier for Coca-Cola. We're located in Chilhowie, Virginia, and been there about 20 years. So we also do bag-in-a-box wine products, and we're starting to do some oil products, shell oil, and also ketchup. So we're branching out, and hopefully we'll continue to grow business.
Good morning. Komatsu, we are basically a heavy equipment manufacturer. We build anything from underground mining equipment to bulldozers, haulers, large shovels, anything to do with basically anything to move earth.
Okay, so I noticed when I asked you all if you'd considered a career in manufacturing that very, very few people raised your hand. And probably that's because you have an outdated view of what manufacturing is. So one of the first things we would like to talk about are some of the myths associated with manufacturing. And a lot of the things we hear is that there are no women working in manufacturing, which obviously isn't true. We have 2 up here on the stage today. We also hear that manufacturing is dangerous and dirty and causes pollution. So we want to address all those myths for you today. Who would like to start?
You want to talk about women in the
Deidre, let's talk about women.
We have women across our company. We have people who work in quality. Those individuals are very important to the making sure that the quality of our product meets the spec that are established. We have 2 women who work in quality, and they are out on the floor on the manufacturing plant every day. We have women in manufacturing that are also in administrative and management positions. We have a chief engineer who is a female, and she is located in our headquarters office in Franklin, Tennessee. So we have women across every department of our company. About women in your group?
Okay. Testing, yeah, okay, this works. Okay, let me give you a story about my HR generalist. She is my assistant, and she started out in manufacturing out on the floor as a temporary employee, and she moved into the lead role on the line, and then she later, a couple years later, she became a production supervisor, and then 2 years ago, I had an HR generalist position open, during which time she actually got her degree. She actually is a graduate from King University. So she is now the HR generalist, so she grew with the industry. I myself started out making about $7 an hour in an HR clerical position, and I went to school at night, and I actually am a graduate from King University also, and I moved into the role of HR manager once I got my credentials here. So I think that really helped me. We also have supervisors that started in roles, very entry-level, temporary employees, that kind of thing that's just moving up the ranks, and they're also in line in succession planning to eventually move into the upper-level leadership roles. So in general, women, it is a myth because now there are a lot of industries out there that is not so much heavy lifting and those type things, because I think that steer women away. So now, like for example, at Sholey IPN, it's a very automated process. If there is any lifting or any heavy duty, we have teams that help, and it's basically totally different environment than what it was, say, 20 years ago.
I can share our offices, our shop is basically divided into the front office and the manufacturing facility. You'll see that just about everywhere, and I think all of us could say the same thing, that there's a front office where all the paperwork goes through and some of the computer type stuff and basically the non-dirty, as you say, kind of things. In our front office, we're about 50-50, male-female. So there are a lot of opportunities for women to work, certainly the front office. Being a welding shop, you would think that all the welders are men, and that's actually not the truth. We've got several women who are actually welding, and guys don't want to ever hear this, but the women do better work because they pay more attention to what it is that they're doing. They take a little bit more pride in their work, and they want to see to it that it's actually done right the first time. We've got a couple of women in quality department who are out there on the floor. Our chief tester, when we build one of these tanks, we fill it up with water and pump it up to a higher pressure than what it's rated for to make sure it doesn't leak. Our chief tester is a woman. She's been there for 20 years. So there are definitely jobs there for women, and we don't know, none of us discriminate. Bottom line for us is if you can do the job, you get the job.
I'll switch over and talk about safety and pollution, because I think if you see old movies and you read books from the 40s, 50s, 60s, you see these giant manufacturing plants which were dirty and old and dank and dark. And I think if you go to a lot of these companies up here now, you would see a totally different impression of what their buildings are. All of us struggle with getting good people to work for us, so it's definitely in our best interest to make a safe work environment. We've all got workers' comp insurance, which is fairly expensive. The better safety record you have, the less that costs you, and they measure that all the time, every year, every quarter. We all know those numbers, so everybody in a major manufacturing plant has a significant amount of time. Most have monthly safety meetings. You generally have a safety person dedicated to inspecting cranes, inspecting forklifts, chains, things people use. It's a tremendous focus because of the personnel. On the flip side, environmental has become a big thing for everybody in the world the last few years, And I think it was easy to look at manufacturers and say, look how much waste you generate, look at all the smoke and the dirt and all the things that come out of your facilities. So all of us focus on minimizing our waste stream that goes out. I know myself, Komatsu, Samuel pressure vessels, we don't throw any metal in the trash anymore. We all have contracts with a scrap company that comes and picks all that up, and that's recycled and put back into steel processes. We've switched over from the old days of having toxic chemicals in a paint booth to now most people use water-soluble paint that is generally friendly to the environment, and that was a huge change over the last couple of years. So most places are well ventilated, well lit, nice places to work, temperature controlled in a lot of cases. So it's really no longer that impression that you had from the old big auto plants or steel mills. There's really not much manufacturing like that anymore.
Shannon, would you like to talk to us about what the work atmosphere is like at your company?
I'm sorry?
The work atmosphere, what is that like at your company?
So in Komatsu, I actually give you a little background. I have 3 facilities. I manage continuous improvement for the southern region, which is Duffield, Virginia, Bluefield, Virginia, and Lebanon, Kentucky. Currently, the atmosphere in our company is we're really, really busy, obviously with the big upturn. So we're working with a backlog. Currently, we're booked out through 2022 with equipment. So it's very busy, but the main thing with Komatsu is everything is driven by safety. Always first. Every person in any of these plants has the right to stop work if they feel something's not safe, or if they see someone doing something unsafe, to stop and say, hey, time out, let's look at this. What do we need to do to make this right? We go out, we do any type of equipment stands are all certified by an ME, which is mechanical engineer, to make sure they'll take the load. A lot of the equipment we build, machines are weighing anywhere from 150 to 300,000 pounds. So this equipment has to be moved around by crane. So we try to, take it as a group, get teams together, just kind of work through our processes that way.
Would anyone else like to talk about your company atmosphere?
At Sholey IPAN Packaging, safety, of course, is our number one priority. Next would probably be quality. But we have a kind of a different atmosphere. Sometimes people look at us and maybe think we're crazy because we like to make work fun. We have a really strong engagement program, and what happens is we have some strategic initiatives each year that's cascaded down from our corporate office, and we take those goals and those initiatives and we align our engagement program with that based on each shift. If the shift meets those goals, then we give them different rewards and so forth like that. And currently we're in Employee Appreciation Week, so just to give you an example of it, we do free lunches, we have ice cream available, popcorn, all kinds of food. But we also, what we've done last week is we had a theme each day, and it's kind of a dress-up theme. We done one day kind of a blast from the past. You can dress up like the 80s, the 70s, what have you. We had a pink out day for breast cancer awareness. We had crazy sock day, just things like that. And then we have drawings for the ones that participate, and they win gift cards and different cool things like that. So as long as you meet our policy and our guidelines, these things that we're doing, you can't wear loose clothing, things like that. But we do kind of things like that, just to keep the employees kind of help with the monotony of the day, and so we do like to have a lot of fun. But again, I agree with him. Safety is definitely our number one focus.
I said at the last panel that I really want to shoot a reality show in our shop because of the characters that you have there. The one thing that you always talk to whenever someone retires, and you say, what's the thing that you remember the most? Well, what's that one thing that you remember the absolute most? And no one ever says, we did this project together, or that thing I did that time. They always say, it's the people. when you worked with the people that you work with, doing some of the things that you're doing, you really build a family around them. And so as far as the atmosphere, the people, we are like a family in the sense that sometimes we just don't get along, but most of the time we do, and everyone's pulling in the same direction, and we try to encourage that atmosphere. And I echo again about the safety. Safety was, it wasn't as good as it could have been about 5 years ago at our facility. We recognized that, and we said we're going to pick it up. And so we did. We improved safety to the point that we just recently surpassed 1 million work time hours without an accident. And that is a milestone for any facility. And we, unfortunately, we just did have one lost time accident about a month or so ago, and that kind of stopped it. But we were really proud of that. We had a big celebration. Same thing, we reward people with food. Food makes people happy. I don't know if you've noticed that, but food makes people happy. So about once a quarter, if we've gone that quarter without a lost time accident or without some kind of a work aid, then we're going to bring in pizzas. We're going to bring in barbecue. We're going to do something like that. Extend lunch so that everyone can enjoy and fellowship and have that time together and just continue building that family. And because of that, we've actually seen work improve. We've seen higher profitability, more product going out the door. And so encouraging that atmosphere, I think, has been a real key to our success.
And at Tadano Mantis Corporation, we're a very cohesive group. We do a lot of fun things. We want to always make sure that we are recognizing our core values, which is safety, quality, and efficiency. Friday, we celebrated with pizza across the company because we were able to successfully get 2 cranes completed for the Corps of Engineers for the government. We got those loaded. We had their inspectors were there to look at the cranes, make sure that everything was done properly and in order. We had 0 deficiencies, so that's a cause to celebrate. Today, we're having cake. We're having cake because one of our employees just received his OSHA 30-hour course certificate. So we celebrate big things and little things, and I think when you have a company that recognizes the employees and what they contribute, that just makes for a better environment across the board.
Next one.
I got a next one. I want to talk about how manufacturing has changed in recent years, and I would like you to start us out with this, Eric, because a lot of people think of manufacturing as just very monotonous work, doing the same thing over and over again. And I've toured Eric's facility, and I know they're doing some really amazing, diverse things.
Yeah, so if any of you have been in this part of the world for a long time, you know a lot of Southwest Virginia was historically based on the coal mining industry. That's where our business started. That's certainly why Komatsu's where they are. But now that is a smaller and smaller proportion of what any of us do. Komatsu's probably the exception there. But so what we had to do was take a look and see where we thought coal mining was going to be in the future. And we didn't have particular faith for our product line that it was going to be able to support us and all our employees. So we started to move away from that a bit. It's still a great business. We love the people. It's great when we get it, but it's a bit smaller than it was historically at the current time. So what we've done is gone into some other markets. Of note, the 2 biggest ones where we've had success, we've paired up with a English company that builds fire simulation objects. And these objects are big. The last 2 that we did this year were actual full-size airplanes. So one went up to O'Hare Airport, the other one's getting ready to leave in about a month to Denver Airport, and these are literally full-size airplanes. It takes 5 or 6 trucks to ship them out. They get there, they assemble it on the runway, and that's how they train the firefighters to put out fires for airport fires, which is very specialized. The other thing we've switched to is developing floodgates. And when I say floodgate, they're very large. The last ones we did were for the Midtown Manhattan tunnels. If you remember, Superstorm Sandy a few years ago flooded all the tunnels in New York City. They were shut down for a month or so. It was a big problem up there. It's, you know, high dollar, high commerce through those tunnels. So they were actually shut down. They commissioned us to build 8 floodgates, which were each about 50,000 pounds. They were 30 feet across, 16 feet high. about the size of that deck, but kind of above you guys there. And now if there's another rain event in New York, they'll actually shut those gates. So I guess my point to manufacturing is you've got to be nimble. We've all seen in this part of the world sort of the trend of outsourcing, which was a few over the past couple of decades. A lot of jobs in textile and furniture industries that used to be here moved offshore either to Mexico or Asia or other places. And now you're seeing new industries like Shoei, Komatsu, Komatsu's been here, but Tadano is relatively new to the area. So new, younger, more nimble industries are moving into this part of the world now.
Would anybody else like to add anything?
I guess probably the one thing I would add is that when you think manufacturing in the past, it was maybe rivet something on or just assembly line kind of stuff. And that certainly is still the case in some industries. But one of the things that's really changed a lot is the high-tech aspect of it. Gone are the days of drawing something on, just making up blueprints or something by hand. Everything's done by computer now. We've moved to 3D modeling. I'm sure every one of y'all have done exactly the same, to where we can actually build whatever it is we're building in 3D space on the computer. We can move it around and we can see whether it fits upright, where we can see where the potential conflicts are going to be. So we can use that and actually head off some of the questions that we're probably going to end up with from the floor and say, that wouldn't fit if we did it that way. So we fix it to where it does fit. And so the high-tech part of it has really changed the industry, has really moved us along to where we can just incorporate the technology. And that's where I know many of you would come in if you're studying technological kind of things. There's a position for you. We need you. We need people who know how to do that, because some of the jobs that we're going to be needing in 10, 15 years down the road, we don't even know what they are yet, but you're training for them now. And so we definitely need the high-tech aspect and young, bright minds to help us out.
I would also like to say that Shoei IPAN has changed a lot in that now people are our greatest asset, as the others had stated. And with that, when I go to hire somebody, I've kind of got this little funny saying that I tell them, I don't want you to come on board and just be a number. I want you to bring your brain with you to work. And so what we do is we have teams at the machines that are very automated, and our employees are very engaged in our continuous improvement activities, trying to improve those processes, being a part of Kaizen events, Six Sigma. You may have not heard about that, but that's part of continuous improvement initiatives. It's not just the engineers sitting in the offices trying to figure out the next improvement in the processes. We actually get our employees involved, and I think that's helped a lot because it's helps create less boredom, and everybody likes to feel like that they contribute and that they're a part of the company's success, and by doing that, they're definitely a part of the success, and that also helps with advancement opportunities, because when we see employees take initiative and they're out there working on processes, stopping a machine, trying to figure out what the problem is, how to keep it from happening again, those are the type of people we want in leadership roles. So that's a big part of how we do business.
Just to kind of retouch on the technology increases, one thing, not just with the manufacturing itself, but a lot of the equipment that we build now as Komatsu actually is autonomous. It operates on its own, so it's not manned in case there's an issue. So there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of the skill sets I'm sure you guys have to come in and work on projects to improve some of those. And so it's definitely changed from what you would see if somebody just standing there popping in rivets or just welding in all this dirty, nasty dirt and smoke. There's a lot of opportunities and things have changed drastically.
Okay, now that we've really talked a lot about why manufacturing is a good career, let's talk about the numbers. So Deidre, can you talk to us about the pay and benefits in manufacturing?
We are very competitive in our pay structure, and I like to say that we are above what other companies are offering as far as their total compensation package, and that includes their benefits. We are introducing in 2019 another holiday. We will have 11 paid holidays. We have employer-paid, long-term, short-term benefits. The employees have the option to elect 2 different tier plans as far as the medical, dental, vision. We have a 401k plan that is above what was, I came from the coal industry, so the 401k plan contribution that we have is better than what I had when I worked in the coal industry. And most people in Southwest Virginia know that coal is king. And so when you talk about your 401k investments, you're looking at a chunk of change. And for us to be able to be more competitive than what it was in the coal industry is certainly something I want to make sure that any candidate who's coming to give consideration to Tadano Mantis as an employer, that they know the full gamut of what benefits are available to us. We're getting ready to also increase the number of paid PTO days that are available. So we have a full range of benefits that are available to complete that total compensation package, and we're very proud of it.
Okay, just to give you an idea of maybe a starting pay at our industry, if you come on as a night shift employee, you would be starting out at $14.35 an hour. If you start on day shift, you would start at $13.50. And the reason there's a difference there is it's tougher to work the off shifts, as you know, and just to try to recruit night shift applicants, we provide a differential. We have a training plan that usually within about 90 days, from 90 days to 6 months, your pay, once you achieve certain goals and certain checkoffs of the tasks that you're learning, within 6 months or so, you'd probably be making or somewhere around 16 to 16.25. So there is a progression pay scale. So just to give you an idea, from $14 to $16 an hour, maybe even close to 17 within a year. So that's basically just an example of industry wages.
An example from Komatsu, I know for Duffield for specifically, I think starting pay range is a non-skilled job would be around 16 and a half starting. Skilled jobs would start around 23 up to 28, depending on what skill set that is.
I'll just echo what they said, but in short, in manufacturing, we all need people. Benefit packages are better across the board. Days off are better. Retirement plans are better. Health insurance is better. Health insurance is not cheaper, but it's all, we all do a lot for our employees because frankly, there's just a limited number of good employees and we're all searching for those people. And I think you'll find if you get on somewhere and do a good job, the companies in general will go very far for their employees to take care of them.
And one thing we do offer also at Komatsu is education reimbursement. Actually, I just graduated from King with the MBA in April that was paid for. So there's a lot of opportunity. We're looking for people. We can't hire enough people. We're needing them that bad.
And we're the same way. When you get right down to it, we've all got to be competitive in the market. You can't offer people less wages and expect them to come. So everyone's going to be competitive with each other. You do try to set yourself apart with benefits. One example I give is that in the past 3 years, our health insurance premiums have not increased. To the employee, they've definitely increased, as we've all seen that, but the company has picked that up. So it's just an extra added benefit that we say, look, here's an option for you. And when you are looking for a job, you just remember, I'm sure you've already been told this, but remember, it's not just about the salary. You do need to look at those benefits, because if somebody is going to say, all right, your salary is good, but maybe your health insurance is going to cost you $1,000 a month. That may not be your best option, to maybe go to a place that's a little bit less, where the health insurance is a whole lot less money as well. So we all definitely have to be competitive, and it is a competitive market. We need people too, and that's the thing right now. We're all hiring. We're in a good situation right now in the country to where the jobs are out there, and we need the people.
Can you all speak to opportunities for people with varying levels of education, so bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, things like business, computer sciences?
We have vacancies that require engineering degrees right now that we're trying to recruit for. We have an EH&S, Environmental Health and Safety Specialist, that we're trying to recruit for. So as far as degreed people, we need you. We want you. And those positions are unique in the roles that they play within the company. We want to hire the best talent. And we've interviewed at Tadano Mantis Corporation, we've interviewed several candidates for the EH&S position, but we're still looking. So we're looking for that talent that's going to be a good fit. So when you have that talent and you're out there in the job market, what you bring to the table is important. Your degree is very important. Your attitude is very important. So there's positions that are available for accounting, engineering. People with those degrees can find jobs in manufacturing.
And we're in the same boat. We've got some engineering jobs available right now. We have certainly more of the unskilled at the moment. If someone does just simply need a job, need somewhere to work, we have those positions available. Usually we will bring an unskilled person in at a certain spot. And if they show the ability, I guess, first of all, to show up every day, you'd be surprised how hard that is in this day and age. But if they show the willingness to learn, they show a good work ethic, we're going to find another spot for them. And so we're always able to bring in the unskilled, because as soon as you master that job, we're moving on to something else. And that's what I do like about the way that we work on our floor, is that if you show an aptitude, we're going to move you up. We're going to keep moving you. We're going to push you to get a little bit better every time. And as long as you're willing to take that pushing, we're going to get you better. Then you may hit a spot where you're like, this is as far as I want to go. And that's fine too. But the positions are there and ready and waiting.
We currently have a production manager opening that requires at least a bachelor's degree. We have other various positions, engineering. We have at some of our other facilities, if you're willing to relocate, we have numerous opportunities available that are definitely degree required, from engineering to accounting to IT or director level positions as well.
Can you all speak to the availability of internships? Do any of you all offer internships right now?
We currently have 2 interns at our operation. One is from Germany, and he is working across all disciplines within TMC. And the reason we encourage that and want to focus on that is because there's a lot of talent out there that can be utilized while they are actually in school training for their degree. So we have 2 positions currently, and both of them are working across all disciplines.
We're the same. We offer internships also. We've been utilizing the internship with some EHS roles. I know we have one in Duffield, also in Lebanon. So there's definitely opportunities there.
We've done the same. Actually, one of the best engineers that we had started as an intern and just wanting to work over the summers and get a little bit of experience. And then when he graduated, he came right on board. We've since lost him because when we moved from Abingdon to Lebanon, he was living in Kingsport and wasn't able to make the drive. But it's definitely something we've done, and we are still always looking for anyone who's interested.
We also have an internship program, and we have brought on individuals that were from the business career to engineering, accounting, and so forth. So we definitely, typically every year, usually in the summer months, we have at least three interns.
And what are some opportunities for advancement once people get their foot in the door?
I would say I guess if I could look back and see how things are now, I think what's important as you graduate and have a fair amount of money either invested or owed due to your college education, you're going to be looking for a job, you're going to be eager. I would tell you what's important is to get somewhere and start and do a good job, because I think everyone up here is about to tell you, when a manufacturer finds somebody that's good, no matter what position they're in, they'll promote those people. They'll get pay increases. The other thing you're going to find with the current generation of people that are graduating is people don't necessarily stay in the same job with the same company forever anymore. In the old days, you could work somewhere and they had a pension and you were a union person and you worked this whole career at one place. That's pretty rare nowadays. There are certainly some people that put long stints in a lot of positions, but particularly at the beginning of your career, you're going to find that you work someplace for 2 or 3 years, you find an opportunity, excuse me, you make the best of that opportunity, and then you move on to something else. It might be in another town, it might be for a different company, but your life situation is going to change a lot in the first few years. Some of you might get married, have children, do a lot of things, so be nimble, be flexible, take what you can get to start, and then maximize it from there.
I can tell you at TMC, you heard both Mark and Melinda talk about looking at those individuals who are their star performers and helping them grow with the company. 4 of our 7 supervisors started out on the factory floor.
It's pretty much the same with Komatsu. When you come in the door, you do a good job, you show up, you show initiative that you want to advance, you'll be promoted. I actually myself started there 17 and a half years ago as a general laborer and moved up through, going back to school, getting training, and to where now, I manage continuous improvement for 3 locations. So there's a lot of opportunity. Just get in the door, do a good job, and it'll happen.
All right, thank you so much. Right now, do any of you all have any questions we can answer before we wrap this up? Okay.
What is human resources? I've heard of the topic a lot of times, but I never really understood what it is.
Yeah. Deidre, Melinda, would either of you like to jump in?
Sure. Human resources is that liaison. They are the person who is an advocate for the employee, and they also are the agent for the company. They're responsible, they wear many hats, and it's not just recruiting and onboarding, it's they administer your benefit plans, they help work through challenges that maybe an employee has with the supervisor. So it's truly a multi-hat function that is an advocate for every employee, and they're an agent for the company. Linda.
Well, the only thing I can add to that is in HR, what we provide is a place for employees to go if you do have a problem or if you have an issue. You come to HR to try to resolve that problem. So we're kind of like, as she said, we represent the company, but we also are an employee advocate. So we work through issues such as that and mimic what she said. She done a good job explaining it.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
I heard a lot mentioned about engineering. What type of engineering is most common or the best type to have since there's so many of them?
I know for us, we have a lot of mechanical engineers, electrical engineers. You'll have MEs that will take care of shop needs, like it could be a customized stand, things of that nature.
And I'm a little unique in the sense that I actually was a water and wastewater engineer for 17 years before joining the manufacturing industry. But generally, it's going to be mechanical engineers for us. You can also have some industrial engineers, someone who looks at the industrial processes and comes up with ways that this could be just done a little bit better, and optimizing those kind of processes.
I'll just add one other. We use a fair bit of structural engineers as well. So if you're building a building or a material handling system, knowing what levels of steel and what kind of support you need to hold up large loads.
So now that y'all have heard, another question.
I was going to ask about the tuition reimbursement. If you have an undergrad degree, biology, or math, or minor math, would you be able to pay for engineering, the extra engineering?
Typically, anything relevant to a job role or relevant to a step up would qualify and fall under the tuition reimbursement.
And our corporate has the same basic policy. Once you're on board, if your manager says, yes, this will be beneficial, then it's going to be reimbursed for the most part.
Yes.
I'd like to say a couple of words here.
We have 10 o'clock class for some of these, that's why.
Yep.
Folks, let me tell you what's going to happen to you. Be very short with reality.
several of these folks have talked about benefits, health insurance. These are high-quality employers, and they're housed in this region. This is my home. I grew up in Southwest Virginia. I worked for many years in manufacturing, mostly human resource management, as well as health and safety. So I would encourage you, if you'd like to talk to these folks after the meeting, Minnie-Gail, the staff people, they'd be happy to speak to. These are great opportunities for you. And as they've mentioned many times, sometimes there's a misconception about manufacturing. I mean, there are some hot, dirty jobs, but there's some very, very high-quality employment opportunities that, as these folks have mentioned many times, there's a chance for advancement. Several of these here are from Southwest Virginia or East Tennessee. A lot of people, as Green and I talk about this, a lot of people would like to stay in this region, Tri-Cities area, Southwest Virginia. So I encourage you to take this seriously because these are good folks. They'll help you develop. As I said, I started out in a manufacturing job. I didn't have a business degree or anything. I teach business. I was an English major, but they will develop you and help you grow your career in such a way that you'll have a lot of opportunities. So I know this may seem something you're just here to get a shout of credit. They get credit for this thing. Absolutely. Okay, they get credit. Somebody here to get credit. But I'm here to tell you, these are great opportunities. They're good folks. They're high-quality employers, and they will they'll offer you some opportunities that you can't get elsewhere. Thank you.
Okay, so if you have a 10 o'clock class, you'd better run. However, if you can stay, we're going to do some door prizes, and I invite you to come and network with our panelists up here. Thank you all so much.